What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a promo mixtape and buzz mixtape by Hopsin. Basically, this product is called Hip Hop Sinister Mixtape Volume 1, and it came out somewhere in like late 2008 or early 2009. So the thing about this particular product is just the fact that this is kind of a promo mixtape that was promoted on Hopsin's Myspace back in the day. There's little known information about this. This really just surfaced like a few months ago as far as those pitches kind of happened. I look after it. Thing about it was just the fact that I think Hopsin probably had a series of these products on his MySpace. Didn't know of Hopsin as much back in those MySpace days, but I would have to say in particular, I know he had like little miniature treats like this as far as those pitches can happen. This is a 7-song mixtape, which is pretty awesome. But the unfortunate thing about it is I am not aware of whether or not this was on DatPiff or pitches like that. It seems less likely that it was, but the thing just to be able to say about it is just the fact that some of these Hopsin products are just a lot more low key to find as far as those pitches can happen. There might actually be a Hip Hop Sinister Mixtape Volume 2, not really as sure as much. I want to say that probably, considering that Hopsin was around back in 2004 and 2005 with projects like LAUSD Result and Emerge and some of those type ones, and his demo that he had that he got that he sent to Ruthless to get signed, I would probably say that there's some Hopsin projects that are floating around that are probably lesser known about and probably only the most hardcore, the hardcore particularly know about it. But this is a pretty excellent mixtape here. I just would have to say it's a definite treat. I would definitely recommend looking this project up on YouTube to be able to find it. Just being able to say definitely needs more publicity about it. We need to get this circulated and get a mixtape download of it. Just would recommend that highly because the quality on here is just some secret stuff. Hopsin raps to he does a few freestyles, mixtape style format like Lil Wayne did, some pitches like that. There's just some good treats on here like the Drop the Bomb 2, Sabrina diss. That's a clever concept, just dissing a random girl that he knew back in the day as far as those pitches can happen. So it's just an excellent type concept. So kind of get some of that there. It's like the overall treats and appeal of this particular mixtape. Just has some good, definite good aspects and it's worth looking into. So yeah, there's 7 songs on this particular mixtape, and out of those 7, I wound up recommending 6. The only song I don't recommend on here is just the song Rent Money. Talk about that one. The basic concept about Rent Money is just kind of a cheesy and just kind of a little bit kind of like it's just kind of a cheesy rendition of like the song "Can't Tell Me Nothing" by Kanye West. It's kind of Hopsin complaining about the fact that he still lives with his parents and pitches like that, and kind of having it from like a relatively youthful kind of perspective of just having to pay bills and contribute. And as far as those pitches kind of happen, just with a more kind of whiny, kind of just adolescent type feel about it. This is kind of an aspect behind it. But I mean, the lyricism on the song is pretty good. I mean, Hopsin rides the song pretty well and is just able to do it, but it just kind of comes off as somewhat kind of hammy, just in the adolescent type sense, more coming of age esque, I'd have to say. But this mixtape is pretty thorough, I'd have to say. Now, really, the thing about it is there's some snippets on this particular mixtape, I'd have to say, 2 of which wound up showing up on Gazing at the Moonlight. Now, I want to say they might be in differential type formats, but I look after it. Super Duper Fly is a snippet, and then Pans in the Kitchen is a snippet. So both these songs are more club type bounces from like Gazing at the Moonlight. So I would just fuck with Gazing at the Moonlight. Those are just the better renditions. That just basically leaves that basically just leaves 4 songs out of 7 to really talk about full blown, and one of which I'm not going to talk about as much. The Made Me Do It, which is just gangster rap Made Me Do It off the Ice Cube's 2008 album. I look after it just being able to say that's a good rendition of it. Hopsin freestyles pretty well on that particular song. It's just a good West Coast kind of highlight just within that fare. It's a good song to kind of have Hopsin rap to, but I am going to talk about these 3 newer songs. So the intro is a real quality one. I mean, I don't always go for intros on particular albums if they don't have like something hitting about it, but this intro on this particular mixtape is pretty awesome to kind of get. This might as well be like another song here. It's like a shrill and ghastly kind of vintage Hopsin fun of a song to definitely get on this particular pitch. It's like some horrorcore turn up, I would definitely say. Just throwback to Hopsin from like the Gazing at the Moonlight and Raw days and some of those types of pitches. Definitely a little bit of knock madness in there as well. I'd have to say it's like great for like Dracula like evening commute. I'd have to say it's just a dope enough concept. Now the thing about all these songs on this project is most of them are kind of less than 2 minutes. Most of these are more like a minute and a half, minute 45-second freestyles or just pitches like that, but still pretty excellent. It's still pretty excellent type concept. Get some of these quickies and snippets as far as that kind of goes. Just some basic bops kind of have. Intro's definitely a nice one just kind of have for some in between it, just picking up some supplies at a gas station, getting like some swishers or a slice of pizza, something like that. Just some easy type fare just to smoke up to. It's real great for September, October. Drop the Bomb 2, Sabrina Diss is a real highlighted one. This is probably one of the best songs on this particular mixtape, I have to say. Just really appreciate the appeal behind this. This Hopsin basically dissing a random person that he knew back in his personal days as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's an excellent type concept, kind of get some of that. Just kind of a chick he wasn't seeing as much eye to eye with, I'd have to say. But it's like a jazzy kind of in between kind of gossip noise. I would definitely feel like it's like a quick kind of backyard smoke and barbecue sesh type dapper fun of a song to kind of get here. It's definitely like a pretty good hangout bop to kind of have. So it's just kind of a concept, just some backyard, just smokish pitches like that, just kind of enjoying like the autumn haze, just some pitches like that. Just kind of the concept of this like simple kind of fare, really just kind of a dapper type one, just being able to say some basic kind of kickback. I mean, all of these songs are snappy just within the appeal behind it, but it's just kind of just some easy kind of hangout sleeves kind of have just for the aspect of it. Just typical kind of haunting. Drop the Bomb too, Sabrina Dis is just a more typical kind of haunting Hopsin, just in a more humorous type sense. So it's just a good concept just kind of have for some of that fraternized noise and just some basic kickback, despite how brief it is. It's a good concept kind of have some of this. I like these sorts of moments from Hopsin. This is a clever type one that's definitely breathed a lot of life into this particular product, made it a lot more affable, I'd say. So I do overall appreciate the appeal. Makes me question if today's Hopsin of like 2020 something four would do this sort of thing. Was just an overall clever type one to kind of get here. Hippity Hop is another song I recommend. This is like a good haunting rewrite of a Millie by Lil Wayne. It's a pretty good concept. He basically just keeps saying hippity hop over and over, like same style of like a Millie type beat as far as those pitches gonna happen. It's like a basic quality Hopsin lyricism on this particular song, I'd have to say. And this is like some night pizzazz, definitely some great fare for like late night hangout sessions. This pitch is like that, some overall night pizzazz. Some glit, and this is just a glitzy kind of hitter. So just like some good autumn sparkles as far as those pitches kind of having just a good aspect, just smoking, turning up, and just like smoking, turning up in like a residential type session pitches like that. Just some real residential type fare that just has a lot of appeal about it. Just all of these really have that relative just snap, it just like some basic hangout type fun just within the autumn type fare. So it's a good concept for that. So that's the appeal about this particular mixtape. So me recommending 4 songs out of 7 on this particular mixtape, plus the 2 songs that I do recommend, despite the fact that I don't have as much full-blown attachment to these songs. I still recommend Super Duper Fly and Pants in the Kitchen, the snippets, but considering that I own Gazing at the Moonlight, it just doesn't feel as much like appeal as if those songs are necessary. But basically 6 out of 7, but it's really 4 out of 7 considering the stuff that's new and just worth downloading the project or finding the project for. I'd have to go ahead and say I'm going to go ahead and give this mixtape like an 8 out of 10. Dope enough concept kind of get that there. I would definitely have to say the Soldier Scar I'm going to give like a 9.5 out of 10. I feel like the appeal behind it, these are some definitely inspired Hopsin projects. His lyricism, his pounding lyricism, Hopsin's pounding lyricism is on here in full display. I would definitely feel like this is just some great fare for like autumn brush and just pitches like that to kind of smoke in like the cooler weather and pitches like that. Just really has some hangout type tunes, PlayStations on pitches like that. Just some real good dap type stuff and initial kind of this relative kind of mild house party, not quite as full blown crazy, but I look after this, it's like some good dapper type stuff or just like some simple kind of smoke session, powwow type fare, and just PlayStation type music gonna have like some glitzy kind of time. So it's just a real overall fun project. Takes it back to vintage Hopsin that he's known for in some of his best moments, like Gazing at the Moonlight, Raw, Knock Madness, some of those type ones. Not to say anything against Pound Syndrome and no shame, just the particular aspect of this vintage horrorcore esque kind of Hopsin, just with some of that night glimmer and ghastliness is a good appeal behind that. So in terms of the future, I'm not really sure what Hopsin's been up to. He put out like a series of songs in 2023, just kind of within the appeal behind it. I had to say, supposedly he's working on something, but I don't know if it'll ever show up. I'm glad that a lot more of these Hopsin projects are surfacing. I actually have some further Hopsin on top of this project that I'm going to get to down the road. This is kind of the concept. I mean, these Hopsin projects, they are out there. There's definitely some fan-made ones and some unofficial type projects that have a lot of appeal that might as well be official, like the Ill Mind of Hopsin mixtape that I reviewed back in February. And then there's definitely lesser known projects like LAUSD Result and Emerge that I definitely recommend as well. So this is another one of those that this is definitely worth scooping up pitches like that. It is on YouTube, so I would fuck with that. And I'm going to get to some more of these because there is more Hopsin despite the fact that I've completed his discography. There are some unofficial ones.